It's the first video of the day, so you know it's going to be about irregularities, voting fraud, whatever we're going to call it at this point. Well, actually, at this point, we got enough evidence to kind of just say, yeah, fraud. It was fraud. It was fucked up, okay? So we're going to hit up Pennsylvania first because this is the hottest stuff off the press. And don't think I'm going to get scooped tonight on anything new coming out of this. So, yeah, we'll at least start here because we'll probably be good to go. Because Pennsylvania GOP lawmakers call on Congress to dispute state's electoral college vote. Even though earlier today, stupid-ass Tom Wolf, who I don't know if he understands what he needs to be doing in his state, but he thinks that there is absolutely no reason for them to come together, the Congress this is in Pennsylvania, and to do any sort of special assembly before fucking January. I don't know, maybe he's got a cruise that he needs to hop on, and he's really got some important stuff that he needs to take care of. But maybe he'll just get overruled by the Supreme Court anyways, and he can take his stockpile of turtle wax and spend his time off buffing off his little pea-shaped head. Anyways, members of the Pennsylvania House and Senate are calling on Congress to dispute the state's 20 electors, and the joint session of Congress meets on January 6th. In a letter, and you click on this and it goes nowhere, so I don't quite know what that means. To the Pennsylvania state delegation, the GOP lawmakers noted that the United States Constitution empowers Congress to reject electoral votes that are not regularly given or lawfully certified, while adding that the conduct of the Pennsylvania's executive branch during the election has undermined the lawful certification of Pennsylvania's delegation to the Electoral College. Yeah, between the governor and the Secretary of State, Kelly Bachvar. Another Democrat, by the way. I know, it's so fucking weird why this shit keeps on happening. Several dozen state lawmakers signed onto the letter calling on Pennsylvania delegation to object and vote to sustain such objection to the Electoral College votes received on the from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania during the joint session of Congress on January 6th, 2021. During the joint session, one House representative and one senator can object to the state's Electoral College votes before a debate ensues. Ultimately, all 50 states respective House delegations would vote for president, effectively nullifying the Electoral College vote, while the Senate chooses the vice president. Several members of Congress, including Representative Mo Brooks from Alabama, have said that they will make objections during the joint sessions next month. Because, yeah, Tom Wolf is not going to call an emergency session, and it's unlikely for anything to be handled within the state of Pennsylvania. This is where we're kind of at right now. I'm not too sure what the next course of action in Pennsylvania is. I'm thinking it's more than likely going to end up at the Supreme Court at some level because all of their lawmakers are doing, well, fuck all at this point. They've just all been like, yep, there's nothing to see here whatsoever. Nothing fishy about late night ballot dumps. It's not like Trump was up 800,000 votes and then all of a sudden overnight that lead shrunk drastically, and yep, everything is kosher. We shouldn't look into anything whatsoever. So I think we'll probably be hearing something from Pennsylvania Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday-ish, somewhere earlier in the week, if not over the weekend. Who knows how quick, with this shit, who knows how quickly it's moving. I might be able to fucking update some shit by the end of the video. Don't count on it though. How about, I said that we'd clean up on Nevada. That was one thing that we knew yesterday was going down. They had their evidentiary hearings over there, and we got some numbers, okay? No, it's not fucking videotaped evidence, but they are signed affidavits, which is, in fact, evidence, you smooth-brained cocksuckers. Not you guys are watching this long. Everybody who's already dropped their fucking brainlet comments have already long since fucking disappeared, so anybody who's still watching right now are, actually hungry for proper information. I know it's a weird concept, right? You guys are part of a very small select group. Trump lawyers, 1,500 dead voters cast ballots, 40,000 voted twice in Nevada. Considering, I think the margin of victory is under 20,000. We got a whole bunch more numbers than that, but yeah, it's somewhere in there. It's tough to keep track of all of these margins, but they are all within 10 to 20,000 votes. So, anyways, to the facts. President Donald Trump's lawyers presented claims of voter fraud to a Nevada state court in Carson City Thursday, arguing that tens of thousands of votes should be thrown out. The lawyers, who also represent Republicans, said in the court that approximately 42,000 voters voted twice in Nevada. 2,468 voters legally changed their address to another county or state. They voted, but hey, you know what? Sometimes your voice is so powerful it needs to be heard twice. 1,500 voters were listed as deceased by the Security Administration or Social Security Administration. Sometimes your voice is so powerful it needs to be heard from the grave, or if you're Biden, 1 foot in it. About 20,000 voters had a non-Nevada mailing address, but they still got a mail-in ballot. That's cool. And 6,000 voters had U.S. Postal Service flags on vacant addresses. So are they like squatting in open fields? That's weird. No evidence of widespread voter fraud, may I remind you. They also submitted evidence that purports to show nearly 8,000 ballots cast by voters with addresses that are physically non-existent. So they just made up addresses? That's cool. And approximately 15,000 voters who were registered to vacant or commercial properties that cast ballots, according to the Nevada GOP. I made reference to this when I think we first discussed this lawsuit going before an actual court. There were many, many accusations that some voters registered at casinos and empty RV parks, and it looks like those receipts have come into the court. American Conservative Union Chairman Matt Schlapp, sexy last name, who is helping Trump's lawsuit in Nevada, told the Washington Examiner this week that in my years of experience in politics, brace yourself for impact. That's always one of those leading prefaces. I have never seen the amount of illegal voting like we have documented in Clark County, Nevada. Jesus Christ. It is a level of corruption I don't think could happen in a modern free country. I agree, Matt. I think you're onto something there, kid. This guy's going to go far. Nevada Judge James Russell, no fancy names, just right to the point, said Thursday that he needs to rule on evidence cited by Trump's attorneys and by Democrats' attorneys. The judge said he will rule on the case Friday, according to reports. We're waiting. Before the hearing, Nevada GOP wrote on Twitter that it so you know it's serious, that it has 20 binders of evidence supporting their claims. That's according to Twitter, and I'm sure it was probably summarily fact-checked. We have testimonies from multiple witnesses reporting that the USB drives used in the elections would show that vote tallies changed overnight. Very commonly heard so far in this election. That means that in the dead of night, votes would appear or disappear on the voting machines during early voting and election days. Democrat attorney Kevin Hamilton said that there's no way to tell who voted for whom in the election. What the fuck? This guy's an attorney? There is no way to tell who voted for whom in the election. Ballots, my dude. Unfucking believable. Russell also echoed this statement. Yeah, I'm sure he probably added to it. In a court of law, it's evidence that counts, not tweets or social media bluster. Oh, you fucking retard. Affidavits. Binders of evidence. And you're just going to go ahead and dismiss it because of the method of announcing it. Spoken like a true Democrat. Right? Here's the evidence right in front of you. There's no evidence of that. You're a liar because you're a Trump supporter. You're just one of those maggots. You're a trumpet. Duh. They used to call you Fox News viewers, but yeah, now nobody's a Fox News viewer. In a court of law, yeah, it's evidence that counts. Fuck off. Just had to read that again to get the old juices flowing. But Trump's attorney, Jesse Binal, said that their evidence about voter records was partially obtained via DMV records. Uh-oh, there you go. Now, is that just social media bluster? You fucking hack. In the dead of night, votes appeared and votes reappeared without explanations, and there's no good explanation. Explanation. Binal said, reported 8 News Now. He added, this election was unfortunately stolen. Sure is really starting to appear that way. We cannot turn a blind eye with evidence like this. We cannot allow an election to be stolen. So I'd imagine tomorrow I'll probably be updating you on what this judge found in Nevada, because local time here, I think it's an hour behind me in Nevada, so it's tough to say if it's already been put forward by the Nevada State Judge. This is the most recent article in regards to Nevada, so take that with a grain of salt right now. All we know is right now, Trump team put out a bunch of good evidence, and the Democrats just said Twitter is stupid. I don't know why you bite the hand that feeds you. And now we're going to go into the big puppy. We're going to go into Georgia. As you might be able to see up at the top, I got a fair fuck few articles because we got, on one hand, Brian Kemp wanting an audit, wanting a true audit, but that dickhead Raffensperger refuses to do it. Why? I don't know. I think I know, but I can't be 100% certain. Georgia Governor Kemp claims GOP Secretary of State has yet to order a signature audit. I wonder who he's getting paid by. Literally. I called early for a signature audit, Kemp tells Fox News host Laura Ingraham. Kemp told Ingram that he is called for a signature audit, but the power of the state to make the order lies with the Secretary of State's office. Well, you're his boss. You can probably, follow up with him on that. I'm just saying. I'm just, trying to use facts and logic here. I think it should be done. I think especially given what we saw today, it raises more questions that would be in reference to the video that we seen from yesterday. And yeah, it seems pretty damning to me, but what do I know? I just watched it. So we got good news coming out of that. Okay, Georgia Secretary of State's office, not necessarily Brad Raffensperger, probing early departure of Atlanta poll watchers. Why? Why bother with a probe? You seen what the fuck was going on. You were told to do an audit. Authorize the fucking audit, you simpleton. Georgia Secretary of State office said Friday they were investigating that early departure of poll observers in Atlanta following the release of a video that shows black containers being wheeled out from under a table, as the Trump team alleged that no ballot monitors were present at the time. There were 4 people left when those ballot carts were being pulled out. And somebody up there at the top, if you guys remember this still that I paused it on to do a little proselytizing on. One of the ladies in the middle had a stack of ballots. She ran it through multiple fucking times. It's there, plain as fucking day. Okay? And that corresponds with a couple of those late night graphs where it shows from different counties. And all of a sudden there's a huge spike for Biden at, 2 or 3 in the morning. And that coincides with the recordings when they went up 100,000 plus votes first thing in the morning. So we have evidence that fucked up shit went on. We seen that those votes were counted. What is the holdup, Brad? Walter Jones, Hall of Famer for the Seattle Seahawks. Oh, different Walter Jones. A spokesman for the Georgia Secretary of State office said that the agency was aware of Fulton County scanning that continued during a period captured on video presented at the Senate state hearing. I would hope that they were aware of it. It was played at their fucking hearing. We have launched an investigation into why the monitors from the political parties left before scanning ended. They were tired. That's what I was told. That's what everybody was told. Jones told Just the News. Well, it was their right to leave early. We want to make certain that we're not misled into thinking scanning has stopped in the night when it had not. Over the past month, there have been conflicting statements from the election officials as what happened to the State Farm Arena. Oh, I don't know. People with eyes say that there was fucked up shit gone wrong, and people with their head buried shoulder deep into the sand say that Joe Biden has successfully won the election because multiple sources have called it that way. We'll just zoom down to the end here. I think it would be good for Raffensperger to come out and say exactly what's going on, but I think that also gives him an opportunity to really look at specifically at the Fulton County recount that's going on to make sure that the recount has been done the right way, and we know that that these ballots were counted correctly and that the signatures were on them. And if there were signatures on that. But as you can see here, Brad doesn't fucking care. Georgia County recertifies election results, rejecting fraud claims tied to the viral video. Did you expect anything else? Now, if you guys haven't been following the content, I totally understand. There's a whole fucking trove of it right now. I would appreciate it if you did. I put a lot of work into this. But at the same time, when all this shit gets certified, that is when all the challenges come out, okay? If you listen to the media, once things get certified, it's fucking game over. That is exactly the opposite of what is true. Stop listening to mainstream media, okay? Turn off the fucking news. Do your own research. You'll be so much better off if you did. Or just allow me to do it for you anyways. You don't have to get so fucking hyper about it. One Georgia County recertified its election results on Friday as Secretary of State shit dick cocksucker. Oh, I'm sorry. Brad Raffensperger office debunked a recently surfaced video that appeared to show illegal ballot counting without supervisors. Let's see how we debunked it. I don't think he will do a very good job. The Fulton County Board of Registration and Elections adjourned a meeting Friday in which members voted to recertify the results of the 2020 race in favor of President-elect Joe Biden in a 3-2 voice vote. Cool. Much of the meeting focused on the video that went viral Thursday, which political commentators claimed show Fulton County election officials illegally stuffing ballots. Well, anybody who took the time to watch it. A form of election fraud. You don't say. Thanks, Fox. You're doing a great service. A senior source in Raffensperger's office told Fox News that the video had been investigated and the claims... Okay, remember, it's a senior source told Fox News. Do we know who the senior source is? Nah. Do we know if it's anybody credible? Fucks no. So take this with a grain of salt. Showed that ballot frauds was deemed unfounded. Adding that Fulton County election officials had designated observers at the location the entire time. That's bold. That's a bold fucking claim. When there were a bunch of people kicked out, and there were 4 people independently counting ballots at the exact same time. This guy is a fucking joke. A fucking joke. But we do have an in-state remedy for this one. Georgia House announces more election hearings will be held next week. That is good. That is good. More information will come out about this. And nothing has been done with the lawsuits so far. They haven't been tossed out. So I think it's going to get even spicier next week. I know I said that coming into this week, and I don't think I was incorrect with that statement. So, because, the 15th? The 15th or the 16th? Not this Monday, but the next Monday is when all the certifications start happening. Okay? And there's also going to be a huge march next Saturday and Sunday, the next weekend, where it's kind of the second part to the Million MAGA March. And now this one's going to be a lot better publicized, and this one's going to be a lot better organized as well, because they've had, like a month, 3 weeks to a month in order to properly promote it and organize it. I think it's going to be huge, and it's going to be in Washington, D.C. I'm definitely going to be covering it, because we've seen what happened with just the tens of thousands of people that were there. Now, if we start cresting 100,000 people, I think it could get a little spicy. But let's see what this is going to yield for next week. The Georgia House of Representatives on Friday said hearings would be held next week about the presidential election. You don't say. After concerns were raised about a video captured on election night that showed suitcases looking like suitcase-looking containers. Ugh. With ballots being pulled from underneath a table when allegedly no poll observers were around. Yes, that is true. Stop qualifying it. House Speaker David Ralston, a Republican from Blue Ridge, stated the following. The claims made by President Donald Trump's team during the Thursday hearing, it is imperative that we ensure free and fair elections that inspire confidence and certainty in the result. Wow. It's nice to hear somebody, spit some common sense, especially when they're in a relatively high position of power. For that reason, I'm asking Chairman Blackman, why do you got to bring race into this, and his committee to act swiftly and aggressively and follow the facts wherever they may lead, so as to reassure Georgia voters their vote will count in January. Exactly, because they got that fucking big old runoff there, and they need to clean this shit up in time so that they can inspire some sort of turnout, because there are huge disinformation and demoralization campaigns running on those 2 Senate races right now. I don't know why they aren't more vocal in their support for this happening. Like, okay, tomorrow Trump's going to have the big rally in Georgia, and hopefully nothing's fucked up happens there, but at the same time, I'm excited to see how it goes down. Anyways, back to this. Over the last year, I've been outspoken. This is in regards to, Ralston here. I've been outspoken regarding my concerns with election processes like jungle primaries and mail-in voting. And I will continue to advocate for transparent and secure elections. And, having more hearings next week is definitely a good thing. Because I don't know about you guys, but I think that sunlight is the greatest disinfectant. I think the more information that's out there, the better everybody will be. Whether you're receptive to that information is totally up to you, but I don't know. I think videotape evidence is fairly damning. So, looks like next week we'll be talking about Georgia. remember, with these contestations right now, Trump doesn't need to run the board on all 6 states: Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada. 3 of these states have to flip, or 3 of these states just need to rescind their electors. Now, did Trump win all 6? More than likely. I'm not going to sit here and say probably not, because, all of the evidence prior to these magical dumps in the middle of the night, which I hope I never have to say again after this election cycle's over, really kind of had Trump coasting to victory. He was up by hundreds of thousands of votes everywhere. But I guess I'm just discrediting how popular Joe Biden is, pulling larger black votes in Detroit than Barack Obama in 2008. Fucking Christ. Oh yeah, and by the way, just a little parting shot. Trump files latest lawsuit in Georgia challenging election results. So, Brad Raffensperger? Oh, fuck off, pal. President Trump and Georgia Republican voters filed the latest lawsuit Friday challenging last month's election results, alleging demonstrable incidences where Georgia election laws were violated thousands of times. But they already certified the vote, therefore why can't you bring apart these lawsuits? It's already done, it's done and dusted. Yeah, see, exactly. That's my point. Due to significant systemic misconduct, fraud, and other irregularities occurring during the election process, many thousands of illegal votes were cast, counted, and included in the tabulation of the contested election of the office of the President of the United States, thereby creating substantial doubt regarding the results of that election, the lawsuit says. Half by Trump, half by me, I suppose. I decided to drop the accent halfway through. Fuck it. Trump and Republican voters also urged the Fulton County election officials lied to Republican poll watchers at 10 p.m. on Election Day, telling them that they were done working for the day. Care of the video we seen. Let's just read some disinformation from some rhinos, shall we? Secretary of State Raggedy Andy office told Fox News earlier Friday that video alleged incidents did not show election fraud and ballots were kept in appropriate bins. I'm not even going to bother rebutting any of this stuff. I think it's just funnier to just read straight. Republican Gabriel Sterling, the voting system implementation manager for Georgia. Remember, this is the only editorialize I'm going to be doing. He was harassed and death threats and threats of violence, which Brad Raffensperger said really need to stop because they're making Gabriel sad. Not like he ever proved any of it, but regardless. Anyways, here's what old trusty Gabe had to say. The Secretary of State's election investigators watched all the videos and concluded it shows normal ballot processing. Yep. If you look at the tape, the work you see is the work you would expect, which is you take the sealed suitcase-looking things in, technical terminology here. You place the ballots on the scanner in the manageable batches, and you scan them multiple times, apparently. Francis Watson, chief investigator and the Georgia Secretary of State, told Lead Stories Thursday that no one told Republican poll watchers to leave, other than the fact that we saw people tell everybody to leave. Nobody told them to stay. Nobody told them to leave. Hey, you're just a lying cunt. Arizona, because enough with Georgia. This is some more breaking ass news, because we just got so much all the fucking time. I try to get the hottest slices for y'all. Arizona Legislature calls for immediate forensic audit of Dominion voting machines. Let me read that again because it sounds so good when I say it. Immediate forensic audit of Dominion voting machines because they suck. Arizona House and Senate, so official bodies, by the way, have called for an audit of Maricopa County. Ooh, the big one. Election software and equipment following allegations of fraud and other irregularities presented by President Donald Trump's team earlier this week. In a news release Friday, GOP leaders of the Republican-controlled legislature sought to an independent audit of Dominion voting system software used in Maricopa County, called for the audit, and that is the only county in Arizona that uses Dominion voting systems. Everywhere else uses paper ballots, or they used different counting software. So it's weird that only Dominion would be used in the largest county, which was trending for Trump, and then all of a sudden just fell off. Who the fuck would have seen that coming? State Senator Michelle Ugenti Rita, I apologize because you seem like a nice lady. A Republican said that the Maricopa County's Board of Supervisors is supportive of conducting an independent audit of their voting software and equipment. You'll love to see it. adding, "It is important that we maintain all the voting public's confidence in our election, and this is a positive step." House Majority Leader Warren Peterson, another strong name, a Republican, said that a significant number of votes believed that fraud occurred. Significant number of voters believed that fraud occurred. Nearly half of the population, citing that number of irregularities that allegedly occurred in Maricopa County and elsewhere in the state, like finding 2 out of 100 specially selected ballots were fucked up, and then I don't know if they figured or they've done anything with the 2,700 ballots that were going to be specially selected in order to figure out if there's anything fucked up yet. To be completely fair, it took them a day to do 100, so it'll probably take a little bit longer to do 2,700. I'm no mathematician, of course. Especially concerning, he said, that the allegations made surrounding the vendor Dominion, adding that the county needs to carry out a forensic audit of the Dominion software to make sure the results were accurate. And the Epoch Times reached out to Dominion, and they were met with a dial tone. So yeah, that's a wrap up for the day. 4 more states. Nothing was really hopping in Wisconsin and Michigan. Nothing really worth updating anybody on. I think everybody was just told to be as quiet as humanly possible in Michigan so you don't disturb the slumber of Gretchen Whitmer. And maybe it was a good milking day in Wisconsin. It's a lovely state, I jest. So yeah, that's a wrap up. We'll talk about something a little less corrupt next. Nancy Pelosi had some weird shit on the Congress floor here today. So anyways, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.